Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of my health journey. If you did not watch part 1, I want to highly recommend that you watch that piece first, or you can tune in today. There's part 1 and part 2, and part 1 is kind of everything leading up to like how bad my health was, where I was, and then advocating for myself with my doctor and my insurance company, getting on the GLP-1, and then finally, when I got on it, the decisions that I made to be super successful with it. So that's what part 2 is going to be about, is like, okay, so now I finally have it, and what am I going to do? And so that's what I would like to lean into with you today. If you're wanting to get on a new health journey, I think that even the things I'm going to share with you, whether you are decide to get any type of medication or not, these are things that are going to work regardless. That certainly was a jump start for me, and it certainly helped me. But I did in no way, shape, or form say, this is it, and now I've got this, and I don't have to do anything else. That was not my attitude whatsoever. My attitude was, okay, I've been given a boost. Now, what do I need to do? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So even if that isn't something that you want to do or that you feel right about doing, because it's a very personal choice for everyone, I'm still going to give you some really great tips today that are going to help you in getting on the right path of a good health journey. So let's begin. So one of the problems that I have in life, and this is a lot of people, whether you realize it or not, you're an all or nothing person. A lot of people are all or nothing. So you're either going to go all in or you're not going to do it at all. People that suffer from perfectionism definitely have this issue. But other people have this issue as well, whether they realize it and how it manifests itself in real life. So anytime that I would set goals, I would just set the whole goal, like go big or go home. Like we are just going to do it all. And so I would set myself up a lot for not being able to sustain that. So what I decided to do in this journey was break it down. So the first thing I did was I said, I'm going to give myself a year. I actually gave myself, and I might have shared this in part 1, but it's okay. I gave myself, actually, I started on September 24th. I remember the day that I started and said, okay, this is the line in the sand. I'm starting, and this is what we're going to do. So I had said, I'm giving myself until my birthday, which that birthday just happened. It was January 3rd. And so that would have been September, October, November, December, January, 16 months, basically. So that is basically the time frame in which I gave myself. That was maybe the best thing that I ever did, because I think that a lot of people, when they don't see great results straight away and they're trying to do everything, then they decide that it isn't worth it and they're not making any progress. And then they just go to doing nothing. There is no in between. People are I'm going to do it all. It's not working. I'm going to do nothing, which that is a terrible attitude to have in every area of life. And yet that is an attitude that so many of us, whether we realize we have it or not, it's how we're behaving. Our behavior does not line up with what we're saying. That's just the truth of it. So I decided I'm going to do it different this time because it is mapped out over even just a year. At first I said, let's take a year. And I decided that it was going to be in a quarter increments. So every 90 days. That's how I was going to lay it out, 90 days. So the first thing that I did, I think I already shared this, but that's what this whole second piece is going to be about. The first thing that I did is I said, all right, what exercise can I do that I already do that isn't going to be something that I'm going to try to add in and can't do? I was already walking, so I just decided to commit to walking, because before I would just go, I should go for a walk today. Or my husband would send me a text message and say, it's nice out, you should go for a walk. And so I eliminated that attitude and I just said, all right, I'm going to get 20 miles a weekend. I usually walk. I have a 5-mile path that I do. And so I'm going to do that at least 4 times a week. So that's what I'm committing to. And I'm going to get 20 miles a weekend. So that was one of the first things that I committed to. So full stop, that's what we're doing. I hadn't really figured out, well, what is going to be my diet? What is the meal planning? What's that going to look like? So I hadn't really figured all of that out yet, but I knew what I needed to eliminate. So believe it or not, I find it anyway easier to eliminate than trying to figure out everything that you're going to eat. So hard pass. What are the things I'm eliminating from my diet no matter what? Now, I've already done a lot of reading and everything on this. So for me, these were kind of the no-brainers. So number one was I'm not going to eat any fast food. So not going to go to McDonald's, not going to stop at Wendy's, not even for a salad. I'm just not getting fast food. So fast food is off the table. So that was one of my first things. The second was I'm going to not eat sugar, like no desserts. So you can't just say sugar in everything. So don't everybody try to split hairs on me that well, there's sugar in that, there's sugar in that. So it was like, I'm just not going to eat any desserts. So no cookies, no cake, no ice cream, no cupcakes, no anything that looks like that. I'm not going to order dessert in a restaurant, not going to have dessert at home. And so that was the next no-brainer. Number 3, this one was the harder one for me. No snacks. No chips, no pretzels, no tortilla chips and salsa, because I used to convince myself that that was a healthy snack. And it probably is a healthier snack, but it's still a snack, and there's a lot of calories that you're suddenly consuming that you don't even realize. So it was like, no snacks, no crackers, no chips. No, if I was going to have a snack, it was going to be nuts. It was going to be almonds, or it was going to be pistachios. So that was number 3. And then number 4 was I was going to limit alcohol consumption. So I already don't drink a lot of sodas and stuff. I drink sparkling water almost probably 100% of the time. I kind of did that a few years back. I'd already kind of gotten away from sodas and such. And so that wasn't a hard one for me. It could be for you. But for me, it was, there's going to be no alcohol. So those were my sort of lines in the sand. Now, in full transparency, I just want to share this a little bit about the alcohol situation. Because somebody said, well, you don't really have a problem, do you? And so I don't know why people feel like it's, again, all or nothing. Like it's got to be, either you can't ever. So I said, I may still have the occasional drink. But during COVID and when things were really bad for me and I was having a huge amount of stress, we got into a habit of which I had never done. I had always been a very social drinker, like when we went out to eat, but I already told you we were going out to eat 3-4 times a week. So I would have generally a cocktail at dinner. Well, then when COVID happened, we were just having wine every day. And I never was a big wine drinker. So I don't know why this suddenly became a thing. But so now I'm drinking a glass of wine or 2 every single night. So there was a point there, and I was gaining weight. But number 2, I started feeling myself like, I don't feel good, and this isn't healthy. Like I had enough common sense to say, this isn't good. But I was already starting to and I know a lot of people are this way. Like they start to get excited about getting home from work, and I'm just going to have a glass of wine to wind down. Like when you feel like you got to have something in order to wind down, it's probably something to take a look at. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what's bad or good. But for me, I went, yeah, if I'm going to be super honest and look at myself, which we all should be able to do that, right? If I'm going to take a look at myself, I always say, take a checkup from the neck up, like take a look in the mirror. Like I'm going to say, okay, I'm starting to think about this more. Like it's the end of the day. I get to sit and have a couple of glasses of wine and watch some TV or do whatever. So I made a deal with myself. You can't drink at home, like period. Drinking at home is out. You can only drink if you're out and about. Well, that was still a fair amount because we would go out to eat a lot. So, but that was my rule. And that was a good rule to put me on the start of the right path. So when I started on this, like this is the line in the sand, it was no alcohol. I've got to do this for a period of time for these 90 days, or like I'm just I'm just really kidding myself here. So that's how I started. It was, I'm going to try to walk. And did I get in 20 miles every week? No, but I came close to it every week. So I didn't beat myself up. If one day I only did it 3 times and I got in 15 miles, then okay. Sometimes if I didn't get the whole 5 miles in and I only got 4 miles in that day, because sometimes I would, instead of getting to the end of the trail where I turn around, I would be like, I'm getting tired. I'm going to turn around now. So it might be 4 miles. I never beat myself up over it. That is the thing. And in the past, I would say that I probably did. So I didn't beat myself up on it. I just said, I did good today. I went, and that's good. And so I did try to get out like at least 4, and sometimes it was only 3, but okay, next week, let's try to do a little bit better. And that's what I did. So for 90 days, that was the main plan. Now, in being really super honest, there's little things I've learned along the way. I've done Weight Watchers numerous times over the years. And one of the Weight Watcher tricks is like to help you be successful. I mean, let's face it, one of the things we have here in the United States, it's not like this in every country, I can tell you that, but in the United States, we probably have we have massive portions of food. And typically, and this comes from some weirdness that you have, that you're going to eat everything on your plate. You probably were maybe even raised that way. You need to eat everything on your plate. Why would you waste that food? That's something that a lot of us has in us, whether we realize it or not. So one of the Weight Watcher tricks is that when you get your food served at a restaurant, that you ask them for a box at the beginning. And so you ask for the box and you put half of it in the box and then set it aside, like on your seat or whatever, that you're going to take it home. And I've done that in the past. And I know that works, because then you're not overeating and then you start to feel full at that time. So that was something I said, that's also I can do. If we're going to go out and eat, then I'm going to ask for a box at the very beginning and I'm going to put half of it in there. Well, my appetite was already not as big as it was. And so I kind of had found that I had needed to do that anyway, but I was doing that at the very beginning. I'm like, I'm just going to put half of this in the box. That is a great trick, and it works. And so if you need a little bit of help in, like, if you're going to go out to eat, try to eat healthy, but no matter what you order, you're probably getting double the amount than what is normal serving. In fact, sometimes when you get served in a restaurant, of what is a normal serving of 4 ounces of meat and whatever else that you're getting, it is sometimes 3 times the amount. 3 times. Think about that for just a moment. You are probably eating, when you go out, 2 to 3 times of the amount that you should be consuming in a single meal. That's an important thing to recognize. So that was one thing that I did. And I did the eliminations, and I did very well on my limits. I can tell you that I think in that whole 90 days, I think I did have 2 drinks. I'm being super honest. So I didn't make it with 0, but I didn't beat myself up over it. But I think I only had 2. And I will say this, and I was super proud of myself. In 90 days, I had 0 desserts, and I had 0 fast food, and I had 0 snacks. So I was like, this is a win. I'm doing good. So now I'm thinking about how and what I want to eat. So starting your day off with protein is super important. I've known that my whole entire life. That's something I've always kind of tried to follow. So for me, and to make it super easy, and I don't have to have a lot of different things. So for me, it was just I'm going to eat 2 hard-boiled eggs every single morning. Now, as I went on, I started adding some more to that, but 2 hard-boiled eggs. So I would once a week make a dozen eggs and keep them in the fridge, and then I would have those every single morning. And then I'd make my next dozen. And first I was doing 8. Then I'm like, why am I just doing 8? I'm going to make 10. Then I started just doing a whole dozen of eggs. And I would have those 2 eggs every single morning. And that was a great way to start my day with some protein. And then I started trying to have protein for lunch. And then the second half of it was, okay, what am I going to eat? And like, I started being more conscious of that. And I was listening to more like healthy things to eat. But the second part of eating is meal planning, which I'm getting into. I make a dozen of eggs at one time. Then the eggs were there. I didn't have the next morning to say, oh, I'm in a hurry or I don't have it. I got to run out. I've got an appointment. I could take my 2 hard-boiled eggs with me. That's why I started with hard-boiled eggs. And I can just take these with me and I am good to go. That was easy. They were already ready. I didn't have to stop. It stopped me from having toast with, say, peanut butter on it or something else that was quick and easy to grab. No. So I did my eggs. Then I started making up like to eat vegetables. I wouldn't just cut them up. So I started buying like 3 cucumbers, cutting up the cucumbers into slices that I would just go grab a quick snack. And then I started putting them in little I got myself mini Rubbermaid containers, not just the big ones, that I could literally bring up here at my desk and I could sit at my desk. So if I was doing any consulting calls or whatever I was doing, I could just have my vegetables. I could have my already cut up vegetables in little snack containers that I could just bring up to my desk and I could eat that whole entire little snack container because they were just little tiny small ones. So that's the beginning of meal planning. Now, in times past, especially when I was working a lot, and we still do this now, my husband will make up. I don't do a lot of cooking. I'm going to be super honest, but my husband will, and I'll help him like on days that we do that, but I'll make up like 6 chicken breasts for the week. Then that way, if he's not home and I'm in a rush, all I have to do is throw that in the microwave and I can have a chicken breast and then I can have a vegetable. And I've got a nice, I tried to eat lean and green. That was the other thing I tried to lean into is lean and green. So a protein and a green vegetable. Like that was sort of my thing. I had at the very beginning minimal starches. As time went on and I was actually doing well and you get to a point, then I would start to add a few things in. I will have, not in every meal, but now I will have occasional rice with a meal, or I will have a baked potato sometimes. I hate sweet potatoes. I know they're better, but I just cannot stand sweet potatoes. So I will have a baked potato. Sometimes I make a big baked potato and I cut it in half and I only eat half of the potato. And then I have the other potato for a different day in the week that I can heat up. So like having things ready, like what can you do to meal prep that will make it easy for you? So for me, I'm not a big cook. So if my husband isn't here and he's doing a theater gig or a sound gig somewhere, then it's like, what am I going to make? So I've got food ready so that I can just very simply make up a meal pretty easily. I got some soups that were not super huge high carb and that were higher protein so that I could have a few soups on hand because sometimes that was just nice to be able to have. So those are some of the things I did as far as eating. In the next 90-day period, okay, in addition to my walking, I decided that I could add just a little bit of weights. So I had never really did a whole lot with weights, but I had some dumbbells here. I had a 3-pound set, a 5-pound set, and an 8-pound set. That's what I had here at the very beginning. So that's what I started with, just doing kind of some arm exercises, and not a lot, to be honest, but just some. And so I would do those, and I didn't have any real set period of time that I really did those. I was just saying, okay, I need to get in a little bit of weights here, and I'm just going to do, some triceps, some biceps, some overheads, some lateral lifts with the front lifts. Like those were the ones I knew. And then squats, like with a weight. So I was starting to add in some of those. I'm not going to tell you that I was doing like great shakes with it, but I did start adding those in because I wanted to get my muscles built up because I was really out of shape. I'm not joking. So I started doing that. So in the next 90 days, that was kind of what I did. So that was like 6 months. Yeah, that just about puts us at, so in June, my oldest daughter, invited me to go to a weight training class with her. And I was like, oh, I was intimidated and I didn't think I was going to like that. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, yeah, you got to come. I want you to come. So I said, okay. And I went. And honest to goodness, that was the best thing I ever did in my whole life. So now in June, I'm still walking and I'm now going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes Friday. So I started doing arms and legs. And I can tell you that one of the first times I was there doing arms, and, he's like, okay, I want you to come over here in this mirror and I want you to do like these things. My arms, that was one of the things that in this, my arms had gotten really big. And so now they were just loosey goosey. I mean, they looked horrible. And it was embarrassing for me to even be in front of that mirror doing that. That was probably the most intimidating thing. And the other intimidating thing was I didn't know the machines and stuff. And that would always be a hard thing for me going to the gym. But what was nice about having that class is he would put the weights on for me and he would show me how to use the machines. And so in the beginning, that was helpful for me. And so one of the things that I can say after I did that for 8 weeks, is like I took the next 8-week class because it was an 8-week class. And then I took the next 8-week class. And he said, wow, you've really changed in this 8 weeks. But what had changed, and this is something that is universal across everything that you do, because I was going and doing it, what changed was my confidence level. So especially for women that are listening to this, if you feel intimidated of going to a gym, which is a good chunk of women that don't exercise or do weights on a regular basis, it is intimidating. You get there and you don't know what you're doing, and all these other people are there working out that look like they know what they're doing, and you don't, and you feel like foolish, and you start to feel like that intimidation starts to hit you, that you're like, I can't do this, or what am I doing here? But because I was in that class, I still felt that way a little bit, but it was helpful because he did help. And so having a class was a good thing for me to learn about different machines and to learn, some of the different cable things and to like learn the right way to do certain weights. So that was good. So I started doing that. And that was kind of a game changer for me. And then when I started really doing that, I upped my game. So I got a 10-pound set of dumbbells. And so at home, if I did arm day at the gym, then I would work on my legs like the next day. And then the next day, I would do my arms during the day and I'd have my leg workout on Wednesday night. So I got to the point where I was doing a workout at home of at least like, say, 30 minutes or more. And then I would go to the gym and do an hour. And on the off days that I didn't go to the gym, I made sure that I did either arms or legs so that I was getting basically about 5 days a week of strength training. That's basically where we went with this. And I started adding push-ups. And I had added the push-ups before, I should say that, before I even started doing the weight training class. And just for anybody that's like, I can't do push-ups, like I do 100 push-ups, not every day, but like at least every other day. And sometimes multiple days in a row. Like I'm to the point of being able to do 100 push-ups. Now, in full transparency, they're like, what kind of push-up? Well, that's where I think like, gosh, don't get hung up on it. Whatever you're doing is great. So when I first started, I couldn't do a push-up to save my life, like seriously. And so I did wall push-ups, like just go over to the wall and do push-ups. And so I could do, how many could you do? Well, I can do 25 of those. Pretty soon I could do those pretty darn easy. Like that, I graduated from wall push-ups pretty quick. Then I graduated to stair push-ups, where I would go do my staircase and put my arms up on like one and my feet down like six stair steps below. And I would do them because you're on an angle. So you're on a different angle, a harder angle than you are on the wall, but you're still not on the floor. right? You still have the leverage of being on that angle. And so I did all the way up until this time that I started that weight training class, I was doing stairs push-ups. So then I decided it is time to graduate to in the floor on my knees. I still do knee push-ups. I may graduate to a regular push-up here, but I can do 100 push-ups. Like I do them 25, I rest for a minute, and then I do 25 and I rest for a minute or two, and then I do 25. Like that's how I get my 100 in. That's how I do it. Some people say, oh, it's how many ever you can do in a row. Whatever, I'm seeing a difference in my arms. My arms have changed dramatically. Next week, I am actually going to show you some of the arm workouts that I do, and I'm going to show you my arms, which is like, this is hard for me. I'm getting out of my comfort zone, but my arms look way better. I said to him, do you think that my arms are ever going to get normal? And he was like, it's going to take a year to year and a half for you to like really working at it for your arms to not, because some people had told me you'll never get rid of that sag in your arms. Like that's just loose skin. You're never going to get rid of it. You need to either have surgery or you're just going to have to live with it. Like I can't even tell you the number of people that told me that. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, you'll see them next week because I'm going to show you. They're not at 100%, but compared to what they were, they are a world of difference. And it's not even been, it's just been since June. Like, so I'm happy and I'm thinking, okay, a year and a half, like I'm in it. So again, this goes back to that commitment. I'm in it with these arm workouts, triceps, biceps, overheads, rows, and my push-ups. Like that's my little routine for my arms. So anyway, that was the next 90 days. And each time along the way, I am losing weight. Now, there were some at the beginning, I lost like 3 pounds a week and it was super exciting. Well, pretty soon, and then I made a whole chart. This is bad me. I made a whole chart. Like if I continue to lose 3 pounds a week, like, okay, by this date, I'll be this weight. And by this date, I'll be this weight. Like that was a foolish thing to do because then pretty soon I was only losing 2 pounds a week and now I'm way behind. And so then I just decided, I ripped that out of my little journal, that page that I had, and said, it doesn't matter. Like that's ridiculous. There were times when in a whole month, I might have only lost, I don't know, like maybe the whole month I lost 3 pounds, the whole month. So that wasn't even a pound a week. There were a couple of months where I got stalled, but I just decided keep doing the routine. So I was focused on my weight. I weighed every day and I wrote it down every day. I never gained any weight during that whole time. And I was happy about that. But there were some times where it was the same weight. There was one time in there where I wrote the same weight in my book for 3 straight weeks. So you have to stay committed, and now some of you would say, well, don't look at it every day. For me, that works. For me, it works. When I know where I am, it helps me to stay focused. And it was not discouraging. It wasn't. It was just like, it is what it is. And then all of a sudden it started to move again. It was like I almost hit like in where I was doing it. Now I will say this. It was about this time where I decided to add to my walking, I would run. So I would go in, I would walk for a little bit, get warmed up, and then I would say, okay, I'm going to run to this point in the trail. And at first it was a mile, or maybe I couldn't even run a mile. Then pretty soon it was a mile and a half, and then it was 2 miles, and then it was 2.5 miles. I have not made it to running 3 miles yet. I want to so bad because this spring I want to do a 5K and I want to run it, right? So that's just a little mini goal that I have. It's not make or break, but I did start running a little bit and then doing walking the rest of the way. So, and I didn't do that every time, but I was doing that. And of course, in the summertime, I was doing some other exercises that I like, kayaking and biking. So I would get on my bike and do a good bike ride. So I was adding some more exercise in there of things I especially enjoy doing in the summertime. So basically, then I started watching more videos. All this time, I'm learning, and I am learning more about, especially for my age, like I have mentioned this a couple of times. I turned 65 on January 3rd, and that was a big birthday. Not a birthday that I necessarily was looking forward to, but it is what it is. And so if I'm going to be 65, I want to be the most healthiest version of myself at 65. That's the way I was thinking about it. So I um I just stayed with it. And I forgot where I was going with that. Like, I wanted to be the best version of myself. Totally lost my train of thought there, you guys. So I am totally doing this off the cuff. As you can see, I don't have any notes for this, but uh, I I don't even remember. Oh, the videos. So I started really leaning into these YouTube videos of watching other health professionals. So I was learning more about diet and the right things to eat and not eat. So I was educating myself on that. But I started educating myself on exercises to do in how you're going to have longevity for women over 60. And so I really started leaning into those, and I learned all about the isometrics and doing things like a plank and a wall sit and a glute bridge and a hang. So like then I added that to my routine. So now my routine is like, what's my routine today? And I try to do 30, 30, 30. So I do a stretching routine for mobility. And then I do 30 minutes of a cardio of some kind, whether that's walking, my bike, my a row machine, my treadmill. I have gotten into this rebounding. I like to play dance music, and so that's a mini trampoline, and I do that. So I do one of those things for 30 minutes in a day. I try to do it every day if I can. I don't hit 7 days a week, probably ever, but I do hit 6 a lot. So then I do 30 minutes of weights. And so I try to do the 30 minutes on top of if I'm going to the weight gym for an hour. So that's like bonus. I try to do my little 30-minute weights, either the legs or the arms or the opposite of what I'm doing at home. So 30 minutes. And then I try to do 30 minutes of my isometrics and my balance stuff. So standing on one leg, like at the beginning, I could only do it for 10 seconds, and now I can do it for a minute and a half, like without a problem. And yeah, I can do a wall sit now for like 5.5 minutes. And so like I started out at 30 seconds. I'm still not good at a hang for more than a minute and a half. That's okay. And that's the one that I'd like to be able to get to hang for like 3 minutes. And I would love to be able to do a pull up. I can't do either one of those things right now. That's something I'm still working on, and I'll get there eventually. But what has been good is that, yes, I have lost the weight. So when it got to my birthday, I was shy 2 pounds of 70 pounds. And 2 weeks later in January, I did hit that. I am still, even today, exactly at 70 pounds. Now I've gone up a couple times, like 3 pounds, and then I'll lose 3 pounds, and I go up 3 pounds, and I lose 3 pounds. That's kind of where I am. And I don't really want to lose any more than what I've lost. I've lost enough weight. So now it's about being strong. Like that's where I am right now. But it took that whole 16 months to lose that weight. So don't get discouraged, and like just get some kind of a routine that you like, but educate yourself. Like I wouldn't have known even about all the isometric stuff if I didn't watch videos. And then as soon as you watch a video, you get fed more videos, and then you find people that you like. And so anyway, that's sort of the second part of my health story. That went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I hope that that's helpful for you. I was at a really bad place, and I feel stronger right now than I have felt in probably close to 20 years. And that is honest. Like, as far as having muscle strength, like I didn't have the weight on 20 years ago. But my arms weren't as defined as they're getting now. And as far as my strength and what I'm able to do, at least in 15 years. So I am super happy about where I am right now. And now it's a lifestyle. And that's the thing, is you just have to stay committed, and you, like all the focus pillars that I talk about, you have to stay focused. It has to become a commitment to longevity and good health. And you have to stay consistent with what you're doing. I have fallen off sometimes with my weight training, my 30, and then I'm like, dang, I missed it for 2 days in a row. What's wrong with you? Get back on it. So one of the things I think that I have learned through all of this is I'm kind to myself. I don't make excuses, but I don't beat myself up. I'm just kind to myself and say, girl, you better get back on it. Like, let's go. What are you doing? I made myself a little chart so I can cross it off. I love that. And I write in a journal, like what I did. And I write out all of my little exercises so that I can cross them off. My 30, 30, and 30. I've got cardio and then a space for what I do. And then I've got isometrics and I got each of my isometrics here so I can write my time in. And then I write my weight training and I put my triceps, biceps, and squats and how many did I do. Sometimes I get 100 in, sometimes I get 80 in, sometimes I get 40 in, but I do it. And then I write it in and I'm on my way. So that's what helps me. I'm a big advocate of what gets tracked sees growth. But don't beat yourself up. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself and educate yourself. Those are the things. If you want to get on a healthier journey of life, then those are the things that I would highly recommend. And educating yourself and learning about diet, learning about strength, learning about your age and what is age appropriate exercises. It's funny because I watched a couple videos on exercises you should not be doing over the age of 60. And it's funny because a couple of those I was doing at the gym because he was having me do them. And I was hurt, my back was hurting. And so then when I saw that video, I'm like, these are the machines to avoid if you are over 60 years old. And so then I was like, I'm not doing that one anymore. I'll do other one instead. And it's made a difference. So educating yourself can help you to do better. It can help you learn why it's important. It can teach you what not to do or how to do it right, not to do it incorrectly to avoid injury. Like, if you really want to have a healthy longevity, you have to educate yourself. So that's my last big point that I'm going to leave you with. I hope you enjoyed this today. If you did, hit subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, just put them in the comments. And then next week, I'm going to actually talk about my arms. And because they do still swing a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But I wish I had a before picture because that's what's amazing. And anyway, we'll talk about that next week. And we'll see you again. We'll just do a little check-in on the weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday, which we've got a whole new series starting on Monday. So yay! Appreciate you guys so much. Bye.